just earlier, and I actually am in Portugal right now at my parent-in-law's house. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, hit that bell so you know whenever I post video. I'm pretty sure most of you guys are going to be watching this after, because right now I think it's like 2:50 in Portugal, and I think most of you guys are back in the US. Some of you guys are here in Europe, so maybe you'll see it, but I just was cracking my butt up over here catching up on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And before we talk about it, like I literally have only gotten to episode 5 of season 13. But before we even get into it, let me just tell y'all, like, it's literally like I'm camping on the inside here. I love my parent-in-laws. I love my husband, but Lord have mercy. If you can you see this behind me? There is I don't know if you can see, but that thing right there is it's like a literal oven. It's not even like a fireplace. It's like a literal oven. I'm freezing my butt off here. But anyway, I also feel like I'm getting a little bit of a cold. I just made my own food. My mother-in-law has been cramming me with her food. Lord bless her. Um, but I also have this because I got Aunt Flo while I was on vacation. I sent a picture of this to my sister, and she was like, that looks like a doggy sweater. It's actually not really warm anymore. But with that being said, I watched Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I know most of you guys, I mean, you're not even awake, so you'll see this when you wake up. But the last time we talked about this, because I really haven't been looking at it, and I didn't even have any makeup on. That's how serious it was that I just had to get on here and like tell how I was, because I literally was just cracking up. I was sitting here, I was eating my little steak and eggs and some toast with some butter on it. And I was looking at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on my phone. And I haven't checked in since probably, I think I did a video about episode 1. And I haven't checked in since then. Let me see if there's some way I can make this better. I literally have a stand on my phone horizontally. And I started this live stream a second ago, but I didn't know how to make it vertically. And here I am 5 minutes later, and one video with a British lady talking to me, and she showed me how to make it horizontal. Anyway, so I was watching it, and I just like, the last time we talked about this, Crystal, I had talked about Crystal. I just feel like I didn't really have a connection with Crystal last time. But I was sitting here watching this here, and Crystal is funny. The Annemarie chick, okay, before I even get into that, Kyle, it's like, Kyle has been one of my favorites since the very beginning, but something has been off with her this past season, and at first I kind of chalked it off as like, Kyle is a sensitive soul. She's going through something, like, her whole thing with her sister, with Kathy, with, what's the other sister's name? The other blonde one, Lord have mercy. Her name is slipping me. But that whole thing, but her and Mauricio have been strong. They've always been very, very strong through and through. And I sort of felt like they were going to get through this. They were going to work through it. It was all going to be good. But something is off, something is off. And I felt like something was off. I knew something was off. And I didn't really know what it was. And I just, at this point, I feel like it's way more serious. I guess I'll say it like this. Like, the last time we checked in about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I thought that it was like Kyle was maybe going through some sort of existential thing. Maybe she was going through some sort of soul searching thing, because I've seen this from my own mother. I've seen this from friends who have been married for a very long time. I've seen this from friends' parents who've been married for a very long time. Women, it's not like women hit puberty and then hormonal changes, metamorphoses just disappear. Like, I speak from even experience of seeing my own mom go through this whole metamorphosis in her like late 40s, early 50s, when I was basically, a preteen. So I just I thought that this was one of those things where maybe Kyle was going through one of those metamorphoses moments, right? Where she was going through maybe something where she was soul searching, or, maybe she was going through menopause. I didn't even really want to mention the M word, but maybe she was going through menopause. Maybe she was going through some empty nest type thing with her children, leaving the nest. But then I saw Morgan. Then I saw Morgan Wade. And you know what? I was like, you guys know that I have lived in Los Angeles for some time. I work in advertising. So I have not been in that Beverly Hills Hollywood scene, but let's just say I've been adjacent to it. And, before I even got into all of the stuff with Kyle and the speculation about if she was in a relationship with Morgan Wade, and, talks of divorce between her and Mauricio, and whether Mauricio was cheating and all that stuff, before I even looked at the show, before I even was like really, really aware 100% of what was going on, I went and I did a little bit of my own research, right? And, of course, when I went online, I see the page 6 type stuff. I see the gossip type rags, online rags or whatever. And they basically just said everything that I said. But then I saw pictures of Morgan Wade. And this is not even to touch on anybody's personal style. It's not to touch on anybody's, sexual orientation or anything. But of course, one of the first things that I noticed was that she was really tatted up. Okay. And I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this while being sensitive of people's lifestyles. She looked hardcore, man. She looked hardcore. She didn't look like a Camille. She didn't look like a Faye Resnick. She didn't look like, what's her name? A Kris Jenner. I mean, you guys know what I'm saying, right? It's like, it's not even, okay. You know how you can look at someone and sometimes you can maybe infer that maybe they are LGBTQ plus, right? Like, I'm not, I have many LGBTQ plus friends, I've kissed girls, like, it's okay if that's what you do. I ended up marrying a guy. It's okay. But, I also have trans friends. Oh my God. I feel like I'm getting to this point. I sound like the cisgendered, I guess, version of like, I have a black friend, and I'm really not trying to make it that way. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, when you first saw Morgan Wade, maybe you had some speculations that maybe Kyle was dipping on over into the girl pool. And I didn't think that way. But I have, like I said, I've lived Beverly Hills adjacent. I know how that lifestyle is. And once, even just a slight look, even just, I was looking at this episode with them with this THC party, for example, which we're going to talk about that in a second. Like, Crystal, dude, the more that I couldn't even remember Crystal's name the last time we talked about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was killing me. Even at that THC party, though, I see that Hollywood vibe of just even the slightest look from someone says something. Even the slightest little eye twitch could lead to a rumor, and that rumor could lead to friends falling out, and that friends falling out can lead to somebody going and getting a ton of plastic surgery done to try to prove themselves. You know, we saw how Vicky Gunvalson and that Little Miss Piggy thing from Slade turned into, you know, years and years and years of Vicky Gunvalson going and getting, you know, whatever. So it is what it is. But I saw that picture of Kyle. My husband just said, well, I must say my brother. Ooh, my brother just said, what are you up to? And my husband just said, what are you up to? He must see that I'm live. But I saw that there were these pictures online of Kyle and Morgan Wade, and two and two just didn't click together for me, right? And so, but then, and that's when I was in episode 1. I really had not watched much because I got busy. And if I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, other, you know, Real Housewives lovers out there, for the first 4 or 5 episodes of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I just really wasn't very entertained. I just was like, I don't know. I really wasn't feeling it. It seemed to be a slow burner. It was going really slow, and I don't know. I wasn't really picking up on anything interesting from it, and so I just, yeah, I don't know. But then I started watching today because I was home. It's Christmas. Merry Christmas, by the way. Oh my God, I'm so rude. Merry Christmas. I was home because I was dealing with Aunt Flo, and I wasn't feeling up to going to Christmas dinner with my husband and his family. And I finally was catching up on the episodes. And it just was like, oh my God. Okay, it's finally getting good. It's finally getting good. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if you were there with me. But I literally, so when I finally tuned in, I would say the point where it seemed like things were starting to finally get real, you know. And when I say get real, I kind of mean kind of centered around Kyle. I'm going to come back to everybody else in a second because there's some things I want to say about Erika. There's some things I want to say about Crystal. There's, of course, some things I want to say about Sutton. I got some questions for Annemarie. I think it's Annemarie. Is it Annemarie or Annemarie? And Dorit, I got some questions about Garcelle and Dorit. Okay, let's just pose it that way. Let me see if I can break it down like this. And then, like, this is all also to caveat to y'all to say I have not continued on to, I think it's at like episode 11 or 12 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I just ate. But I have not finished those. I've only gotten up to about episode 5. Okay, so again, with this caveat that like I had just sort of gone online and seen the different tabloid gossip type stuff about Morgan and Kyle. Okay, but I didn't have much further into it. But I've also had this lens of knowing that Kyle and Mauricio have always seemed like a very, very sturdy union. They remind me a lot of my grandparents, not in age, not in anything like that, but just the dynamic of their relationship. My grandparents were married until my grandmother passed away very recently, but, you know, almost 70 years, these people were married. And literally Kyle and Mauricio, their alliance sort of reminded me of that. And that is also so rare in Hollywood, right? And so, of course, I was really concerned. If you guys go and look at my videos, you even see another video where I just was like, what is going on with Kyle and Mauricio? Because it really concerned me. They've always seemed very, very sturdy. And so I did a little bit of research, but I didn't delve deep. And then now I've watched, I would say 2 or 3 episodes. I watched, I think, between episode 3, episode 4, episode 5, and maybe whatever episode I am right now is the episode with the THC dinner. And I think it's either 5 or 6, but don't hold me to the actual thing. I would like to switch over and look at it with you guys, but I don't have my whole studio set up here, obviously, so it's not as easy for me to just like toggle between my laptop and my phone, and but whatever. And the THC dinners seem to just bring everything out. But even before we got there, there's this point after they went to Vegas, right, to see the Magic Mike show, where there was that whole thing where Sutton got up and she was all pissed off about what I didn't even know what she was pissed off about, but we know the real reason she was pissed off is because she didn't get invited on stage, right? And so then I just was like, okay, well, that's going on. That is what it is. So she was pissed off because she didn't get invited on stage, and that's what it was. And Crystal, I think we've always sort of seen Crystal as kind of quiet, or at least I did, in the background. But she's a sassy woman, because even Crystal called that out. And just her shade is not like, it's not gonna burn and sting and twist inside of you. Crystal basically called it what it was. She's like, she was mad because she wasn't invited on stage. It's like that's what it was. So I thought Sutton was being. Let me go ahead and say this. In Sutton's case, I felt like I really couldn't understand Sutton. I didn't connect with her because she seemed to be sort of from that Southern elite, and I'm from the South, and she seemed to be from that Southern elite, snobby, Southern twang, that I never surrounded myself with. Even when I went to a private university in Savannah, Georgia, near Hilton Head, South Carolina, and I was at school with this echelon of people that are like younger versions of Sutton. I would have much rather hung out with, the good old girls and boys. But, oh, I'm sorry. I saw somebody outside. I was like, Lord have mercy. What is this? What is it? Oh, my, So the way that my husband's parents' house is set up in Portugal is his granddad built this house, but like the way that their houses in Portugal is like there is basically like 4 or 5 houses smacked together. There's literally like, I don't even know what it is outside. Is it a silo? Is it a propane tank? I don't know. There's friggin' farm stuff over there. There is roosters. I don't know. Like I said, like camping, but on the inside. But one of their tenants just walked by, and I just was like, But anyway, I'm a city girl. So anyway, but I just was like really, really, really confused about Sutton, because I thought that she had this personality of like this Southern snob that just reminded me of something from back home that I have always just tried to stay away from, because it just seems like drama. And Sutton even gives off those vibes of some people in my family, like just those aunts, and I'm not specifically talking about any specific aunt or anything like that. So if any of my family rolls on here, I'm not talking about y'all, but just like those random, twice removed cousins or aunts, or somebody that you call an aunt, but who's not really your aunt, that just is a little bit bougie, like a little bit bougie. And they are the church going ladies. They like to gossip, and they're really sweet. They will give you the jacket off of their back. You can always eat good when you go to the house, but they just like are sassy, and like, and I'm just like frankly scared of people like that. So I'm just like, yeah, that's the idea that I've had in my head of Sutton. And I think I was wrong. This is me admitting that I was wrong. I think that she is actually much more reachable and attainable than I had previously thought. I think she's much more down to earth than I had previously thought. And this THC party kind of proved it to me. And no, it wasn't the joint. It wasn't the joint. Kyle, same thing. I had this idea in my head that Kyle and Mauricio were going through something that I saw my mom go through, that I've seen many people go through, many women in particular, friends, moms, friends who are women who are married, I thought she was going through a metamorphosis type thing. I thought that she was going through, and I kind of still do, but I thought that she basically was maybe going through some empty nest type thing, like I said earlier, or maybe she was going through something where she was finding herself, or maybe she was going through menopause, maybe, like but that's what I said. Don't come after me, it's just what God does to us. It's just the natural path of life. But yeah, I thought it was something like that. Where I was wrong with Kyle, it hit me when I saw that scene with Morgan Wade. And I, Morgan Wade seems like a perfectly nice individual. But this is I'm just being real. This channel is called It's the Real Najwa. And people might come after me, but I gotta say how I feel. When I saw that scene with Kyle and Morgan Wade, and there was a guy, he seemed European. He seemed like he had a European accent. I don't know if he was like a stylist or an assistant or something like that. And they were sitting together. It looked like it was either at Morgan's house or Kyle's house. I'm not sure where. And I think, what were they talking about? I think they were talking about this issue with Sutton, and I think Kyle was basically venting to Morgan Wade saying, I just feel like I need to be able to be myself. Or maybe Morgan was saying that. Morgan was like, you need to be able to be yourself. And in that moment, it just clicked for me. I saw her hair. I saw her tattoos. I saw her swagger, her manner of the way that she wore her clothes. And it just clicked for me. I was like, Morgan, girl, you're stepping in on something, you're the thing that's in the way. You're the thing that is maybe about to be causing some trouble in an alliance that's been there for a very long time. And I think that Kyle is someone who is so sweet. She is someone who is so impressionable. I think that Big Kathy had a really big impression on her life. And I think her passing really affected Kyle. And I think that it seems like Kyle is always in a way running from her sisters, even though they have their own issues. They are like a very real representation of what's left of Big Kathy here on Earth. It's like, it's this thing where like family can sometimes be toxic, but sometimes family is the only thing that you can come back to. And that is a very real representation of the people who have seen you running around in diapers. They've experienced the whole thing, diapers to first prom to all of that stuff. They know your metamorphosis. They know your transformation. And Kyle is seeming to shut them out, to run away from them. And that's sort of the first thing that's something that I haven't seen, being a very loyal watcher of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for a very long time. I haven't seen her in a sustained long amount of time, shutting out her two sisters for a sustained period of time, B, shutting out her husband for a sustained period of time. And when I saw Morgan Wade, wait, hold on, before I come back to Morgan, and let me just say what's on my mind. So like when I saw Morgan, I was like, oh, is this Morgana? I didn't even know why. I don't know why I said it in my head like that. But in my head, when I saw her, I was like, is that girl like Morgana or something? Morgana? And I just bet that's the way that in Beverly Hills, this news got passed around. What's her name? Isn't her name like Morgana or something? I'm sorry. Okay. But I just... I feel like Kyle is a person who, and love her, God bless her sweet spirit. She is amazing. I really want to caveat this with saying like Kyle has always been one of my favorites on the show. But I also think that she is someone, on Parks and Recreation, when Ann Perkins dated someone, whoever she dated, she dressed like them. You guys remember that? Kyle Richards is the type of person who the latest friend in her life, she's like a sponge. And it seems like because her mother passed at this time that was so kind of pivotal for her, and she has always sort of internalized her mother's passing. It's something that's very sensitive. I mean, who wouldn't, right? But for Kyle and her particular personality, her particular pathos, like it just seems like it's something that she carries around every friggin' day. And it seems like in her husband, in her sisters, in strangers, in friends, and colleagues, she sees these attributes of her mom, of her life growing up there. I'm not trying to play psychologist or anything like that, but I mean, I have studied a bit of psychology, and I also I'm an empath, and I feel that from her. I feel like she really internalizes things, and it often comes back to her mom, but she stuffs it down and she tries not to address it. And Sutton said this. Sutton was like, Kyle doesn't talk about anything real. Kyle doesn't talk about anything real. And it's true. It's true. So when I saw Morgan, with that being in mind, the fact that the person that she sets herself around, whoever they are, but her family, they're the people who really know her for good or bad with this insight, and her friends, sometimes she absorbs their neuroses, she absorbs their good qualities as much as their bad qualities, and it's all sort of her inability or her hesitance to confront her grief, this rolling grief that she has about her mother. And so when I saw Morgan Wade, I was like, girl, Morgan, you are setting yourself up as a problem somewhere. And I think that Mauricio and even Kyle's sisters are always going to be there. I really, really do. And I think that Kyle has she reminds me a bit of Jacqueline from New Jersey. I'm sorry. She reminds me a bit of Jacqueline from New Jersey, how Jacqueline went through that stuff with Danielle Stobe and Teresa even. Teresa Giudice. How do you say it the right way? I've been saying Giudice for forever. But Jacqueline is a sweet soul. She also has this thing where she sort of, and I'm not sure if it has to do with like a certain level of vulnerability or insecurity, but you even have those friends in your life who it just seems like they get these girlfriends. It's great. It's laughing. It's fun. Yes, but then it seems like they really are leaning on them to complete their personality. And that's where it's a problem. And Kyle, Jacqueline, they both will defend people. They will defend their friends really, really, really deep. But when I saw this Morgan girl, I was like, girl, you don't even know what you're stepping your foot in. And I think that Kyle is vulnerable right now, and so even me, I'm very, as I've gotten older, I wouldn't describe myself as really old, but I mean, I'm 32, and as I've gotten older, I've become more, how do you want to say? I've become more detailed oriented about who it is that I'm going to let into my life and in my circle to see if they really, really value what I care about in terms of family, in terms of my marriage, and I don't see Morgan hanging out with Kyle and Mauricio. I see Morgan hanging out with Kyle. Okay, coming off of that for a moment. Then this THC party. So, Denise, can we talk about Denise Richards? So Denise is looking over at Erika. Now Erika is another one that I had it all wrong about. So I thought that Erika was a white girl trying to be a black girl, and to be honest, I heard that she grew up in Atlanta where I grew up. Not exactly where I grew up, but in metro Atlanta. And so with that lens in my mind, I was like, okay, so she's just like a white girl trying to be a black girl. But that was one element. And this other element, she's got this Erika Jane thing. And sometimes she seems like she's talking like this, like Darth Vader 1 second. And then the next second, she's like totally normal. I'm like, who is this woman? Is she an alien? She's married to this super old dude. And I just was like, I don't understand anything. I had it all wrong about Erika. And I figured it out. Everything came to me at this THC party. At this moment where Garcelle was asking Kyle, did Mauricio give you that ring as like a forgive me ring or whatever for possible infidelity? This is the rumor out there, which, hey, until I see proof, until I see some woman pop up, I don't really buy it. But anyway, so Garcelle was saying, my ex-husband did that for me. They saw this new ring on Kyle's hand. They're like, did you buy it for yourself? Or was that a gift from Mauricio for a possible infidelity? What is this? And Garcelle, she indulges the information or, divulges the information that her ex-husband had given her a ring with a cross on it when he cheated, as a sort of forgive me. She said it was to lure her back in. And Erika said, did it burst into flames? And I don't know. I see some of myself in Erika. I finally understand her. Like, I don't think I'm as much of a diva. But the thing that I've come to understand looking at Erika and Sutton is that Southern women, and also listening to my husband, Southern women think that they're low maintenance. Oh, hi, Miss Lakiva. Southern women think that they're low maintenance, but they're actually really high maintenance. I think that Sutton and Erika, they just seemed like drama queens to me. They just seemed like aliens. I just, like, even Erika, I couldn't figure her out at all. And then with this Denise thing, Denise is looking across the table. Denise is like, she's like slurring her words and she's like, Erika, I want you to apologize for what you said to me. And Erika's just like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't even know what it is that you're talking about. She's like, I want you to apologize to me for what you said to me. And at this point, they're having a THC party, which I also want to mention this. I feel like, as someone who lived in California for like at least 4 or 5 years, what was that, 2015? Yeah, at least 4 or 5 years on and off. Like, weed is legal there. You don't have to pretend and be like, oh, what is this? Like, is this an edible? Oh, okay, cool, very cool. Now, I myself, when I lived in California, I would smoke pot. But now, whether it's legal or not, I don't smoke pot anymore just because, I was the type of person who in high school, I kind of got my partying out early, like literally in Atlanta, going to an art space high school. I went to a really good university and also a bit of a party school as well. And so I feel like I got that out of the way. And at some point in my mid-20s, the focus was really more on my career. Have I not had a drink every now and then? Have I not partied every now and then? Yes, but I find it so funny on Real Housewives where in states where pot is actually legal, they just still treat it like, we've got to make this big production out of it. Like, we've got to do a THC dinner party. And like, there is this thing where it was the Real Housewives Ultimate Girl Trip or whatever you call it at, what was her name? Oh, God, why do I always forget her name? Blue House Manor or whatever you call that place where they were. And oh, hi, happy holidays, guys. And it just was friggin' weird. Like, it's okay, we get it. Pot is legal in California. You're on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. You guys can smoke pot. Nobody's gonna judge you. So let's just get that out of the way. At this pot party, but Denise, this pot party is going on. The chef recommends 10 milligrams of THC or something like that. And everybody's like, oh, I'll take 5 milligrams. Dorit's like, I'll take 1. Um, who else said 0? Garcelle and Annemarie, both of them 0. Black people, we gonna crank up. We gonna crank up the when the surroundings are totally comfortable. So they went 0. We just gonna stick to drinks. And like everybody, nobody got actually the recommended dosage from a chef, like from an actual chef. This is their expertise. So you can tell everybody's kind of on edge, like looking around. And here comes Denise. And Denise is like slurring her words. She's like, you know what I'm talking about to you. And I'm like, she don't sound drunk or buzzed on THC. Like, she sounds like she took a here Percocet before she got there, maybe to calm her nerves. And like Garcelle said, maybe she had a cocktail before to calm her nerves. And I can see that. But Denise, that could be a whole nother video, because Denise strikes me as someone who who has had a hard life. And not even to be funny right now, but she was married to Charlie Sheen. And Charlie Sheen, I think people always write him up as an addict, but I think he was battling with some serious mental health issues. So, like, I would just be nice to Denise. If I was in her presence, I would just be nice to her, because I'm pretty sure she's already had some rough dealings. And Sutton has this moment where she's like, if I was Denise, if I had Denise's body, I would be naked drinking tequila and slurring my words all the time. So I was like, that was funny. Crystal is literally like, Annemarie, who is this woman? She asked so many questions. Who are you? Where you from? Where you grow up? This bitch is nosy. That's what Crystal said. This bitch is nosy. Crystal is a spitfire, but she's low key, dude. I'm loving my Chinese American representation right now. I love this. She's so sassy, but she's sassy in the confessional, and I don't know. She just, something about Crystal is a silent retort, but strong and sturdy. And I definitely think that she butted her nose in that stuff with her brother and his ex-fiance. Um, yeah, sisters-in-laws can be difficult. But you know what? I think that she did, and I think she has too much pride to admit it, and I think her husband admitted it for her. Did you guys see that when that call was happening? So I saw another side of Crystal. I see that she is quiet, but she's strong. She's got a strength to her. I also see that maybe she has a certain this thing that I feel like you see a lot more in Western European and Asian families, the stronghold on siblings and family members and stuff. And it seemed like she had a tight grasp on her brother, and she wasn't ready to let go. And that sort of led to the ending of an engagement between him and someone who he seems to really still love. So maybe she'll make that right. But then again, we don't know everything. But that was what I saw about her. Erika, when she said that burst into flame things about the ring, like I said, I finally was like, I get you, Erika. You're funny, and you're not trying to be like a black girl in a white girl's body or anything. Like, she just seems like someone who, I think, like many Southern women, again, think that they're low maintenance, but they're high maintenance. A little bit of a diva. And I think that she probably was looking for her knight in shining armor with what was his name? Tom Girardi. But that didn't really work out the way that it was supposed to. I think that she went into a lifestyle where she basically thought she was going to be able to be arm candy and live safely, securely. Um, but I don't think she recognized how hard it was going to be being the um, how do you call it? Like, instead of the primary act, you're sort of like the secondary act. I don't think she realized that that was going to be the case. And that was part of why I was always so confused about her personality, because I was just like, I was just like, is that her thing with the latex and the singing and her entourage and stuff? I just thought that she was so unattainable, so detached and otherworldly. But that was actually, I think, her having, this is pain meds, not anything serious, just like pain reliever. Um, I think that was her outlet. I think that was her outlet to just be herself. Now, Garcelle said something about Dorit. Did you guys hear this? Garcelle said that, like, when there was all of this business, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said. There was all of this business about Kyle's ring. And Sutton had noticed that Kyle wasn't wearing her wedding ring or her engagement ring or whatever it was, and that she had on this new sapphire and diamond ring. And Kyle was like, is she, like, everybody was like, is Kyle going through something with Mauricio and that we don't know about? And Sutton was like, I noticed that she's not wearing this ring. And in the confessional, Garcelle was like, and again, caveat this with saying I haven't seen the rest of the season yet, and you guys can give me spoilers if you want. I don't mind, because I'm already so behind. But Garcelle was like, I'm sorry, I'm really trying to track exactly how she said it. She was like, I really don't notice people and their jewelry. She was like, I can't believe how Sutton noticed that. I don't notice people in their jewelry. The only time that I've noticed any jewelry was how Dorit was still wearing hers after her house was robbed. Did you guys hear about that? Like, that right there was slow, cold. I would say smooth, but when you're hitting that low, that really, really threw me off. That seemed low to me. It seemed inappropriate for the show. I mean, Garcelle is such a sweetheart. I really love that she has claimed her stake on the show as being someone who was a representative of Black and brown people and a Black and brown voice. And she hasn't been afraid to speak up about that, especially with seeing how many atrocities are happening towards Black and brown Americans right now. And I've loved her for that. I think that she has this down to earth element about her. But that right there struck me as staking war. Like, I that struck me as war. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I feel like that's where I'm at with this season. I'm going to keep watching. We can wrap up there, but I had to get on here and talk about that. Morgan Wade, girl, you are stirring up some stuff that I don't think you even understand. And if you really care about Kyle, you need to go ahead and step back and let her repair her relationship in her marriage and repair her relationship with her sisters. Sutton and Erika, I had them all wrong. And I can't say that they're going to be my favorites of the series, but I'm looking at them with a different light. Garcelle, I'm looking at her with a different light that is not good. Like, I love her, and I'm really hoping as the season flows out that I'm not seeing her be messy, maybe to drive up entertainment for the show's sake or something like that. Crystal is friggin' hilarious. Denise and her upside down jacket. And whatever she was on, girl, just be well. We know that you have had a rough one. Be well. And we're gonna check back and see what happens. For my Success Squad people, I know that y'all have been wondering, like, I don't know that y'all have been wondering, but I do know she had that podcast where she talked with Andy Cohen. And, he said that he had some rumblings about considering if Meghan Markle could be a housewife. I personally just don't see it. I think that she, of course, would have no problem rolling in this crowd. I don't. I think that she'd be able to hold her own. But at the same time, I think that this show crosses somewhere between reality and fiction. I think a lot of these women will come after each other, will be really catty, will be really mean just to continue to keep their stake in the show. And Meghan Markle having already been through so much, I would hope that she wouldn't go on the show, And I would say it wouldn't be worth the friggin' $25,000 a season check that she would get, or even the notoriety or fame that would come with it. It would be, she don't want to be lumped up with these women. But even so, when I'm looking at these seasons, for example, I'm looking at something that is my favorite housewives: Vicky Gunvalson, Lisa Vanderpump. I almost said Vanderkamp. Vanderpump and Nene Leakes. And all of those women are gone off of their franchises. So I feel like, but Lisa Vanderpump, I feel like she was probably the classiest. And I think Meghan Markle would definitely come in and be a classy one. But yeah, I need to go blow my nose. I'm a little sniffly. I'm going to go get some tea and continuing with my camping indoors. Love my parents-in-laws, my in-laws, but yes, my camping indoors by Snuggle Buddy. I will see you guys back in Paris. Tell me what you guys think about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills so far. I had no intention of making this live stream run this long, but I just had to talk about it. And Annemarie, question marks. I got question marks about her, Like, it seems like she really, did she move next to Kyle to get on the show? Like, where did she come from? Why are her guns so big? It's just, I got questions. But I want to know what you guys think. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you know whenever I post a video. If you would like to support my channel, you can also put a super thanks down below. You can also join us for membership perks. I post all types of videos about pop culture, politics, inspiration, motivation, all of it. So I would love to have you guys join me. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. This is my first time live streaming from my phone. So hopefully I can close this out right. I think I just tapped the X button. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.